Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you back to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. Here today, I have a special guest, Jamye Carpenter. Jamye is a professional with over 25 years of experience in the automotive and remarketing industries. Currently, Jamye serves as the Vice President of Customer Success at Privacy for Cars. She is also the founder of JRC Innovation Solutions, further expanding her impact in the auto remarketing space. Recognized for her contributions, Jamye was honored as the 2020 Woman in Remarketing honoree. It's great to have you on, Jamye.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
All right, so I'm just going to start talking about kind of your background. You originally started your career in musical theater and graduated Auburn with a degree in psychology. What drove you to transition from this to the automotive industry?
So, it wasn't really something that when I graduated college, I thought I would do, right? I really thought that I wanted to work with children
Hmm.
who had been abused. So, here in the state of Alabama, it's DHR. The Department of, DHR. I don't even remember now. It's been 30 years ago. Um, but that was my first job out of college, and it was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. A 20-year-old out of college, I didn't have the life experiences. I had not been a parent, and so it was very, very hard for me.
Definitely.
Um, and so it was the only job my husband's ever asked me to quit. And so, as newlyweds, I needed a job. My husband was in education for 27 years. And so, at the time, he was teaching and coaching, and that doesn't bring in a lot of revenue, into a household. So, I needed something that could really help support us and the family we wanted to have. So we say all the time that this is a relationship business, and boy, is it. So um, my father-in-law played football at Auburn University and sent my resume and an email to all of the players from his class that he played with in the 4 years he was at Auburn, and just said, "Hi, my daughter in law is looking for a job. If anybody is hiring or knows anybody hiring, please share." And so one of his former players um, lived across the street from a lady that was going to work for this startup called AutoCheck, which is the vehicle history service that I spent 24 years with. And so she called and offered me an interview. And I went and came home, and I told my husband, I was like, that was the worst interview ever. There's no way I'm getting this job. But I did. And it was amazing getting to be part of a startup and creating something special. Was really it. I felt like that's what I was really meant to be part of. And I started out as a customer service rep. The company literally had like 6 employees, right? So we were wearing all different hats. And about a year or two in, I went to we only had really one salesperson. And so I went to the sales manager and was like, "Hey, I worked retail all through college to support myself. And I think I would really like to do sales. This customer service thing is really not my jam." And I was like, "So if you're going to build a team, I would really like to be part of it." And so he got promoted to vice president of sales, hired me as a sales manager. We started building a sales team, and I was in love. And I used to joke all the time and say, as a musical theater major and a psychology major, there are two things that I've learned how to do. I can walk into a room, I can read it, and I can perform. And
That's
so I
awesome.
think that, like, if you think about it, that's kind of how those two things really prepared me for what I've done in my career. And I've loved every minute of it. And the relationship piece has really been what has kept me in this industry. And we joke all the time and say it's like this hidden little niche industry that nobody really knows about, but once you get into it, like, you never want to leave. So, it's kind of one of those things that, even if you switch jobs or if you move around, you're not moving industries, you're just moving jobs within this kind of
You're
remarketing
just
channel.
talking to new people is basically all
Yeah.
you're doing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. It
Yeah.
must have been the right fit if you've stuck with it for 24 years. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I left there after 24 years, not because I was unhappy necessarily. My husband and I moved an hour and a half away from the office, and I worked for a family owned company, and we, as then I guess let me go back. So after being there and building auto check and creating something special, we sold auto check, the name, the consumer dealer business, and the financial arm to Experian Automotive. So we had to come up with a new name, and we knew we wanted to keep our wholesale auction business because that's really what our company was founded on. And the parent company owned other companies within that wholesale space. And so we came up with the name Red Mountain Technologies because we literally would sit on top of Red Mountain in Birmingham, Alabama. And we just kept going with the wholesale channel and insurance. And again, it was awesome, and it was really all I knew, right? I did go back to school in my 40s to get my MBA, which is the hardest thing I've ever done, I will say. I do not recommend in your 40s. Do it now when you're young, if that's what you aspire to do. Um, but with that, I just kind of, it's not anything I needed to move up within this small family owned company. Um, but it was something that I thought, I just want to do for myself. And because it was a small family owned company, my husband and I moved an hour and a half away, empty nesters. We wanted to move on the water. And so I did that 3-hour commute for about
Oh
a year.
wow. That's a long drive.
It is a long drive. I listened to a lot of great podcasts and started reading books through Audible, but it became very taxing. And I realized that as you get older, I think you just are like, you know what? I don't have to do that anymore. So I went, of course, I didn't want to leave Red Mountain at the time. And so I was like, hey, could I work from home like a couple of days a week? Because I traveled all the time too. So I was gone, like, you know, probably 2 weeks out of a month, and then traveling 3 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Uh,
that, the country doesn't stop just because, you know, um,
that turns
yeah,
into a lot and a long day too, especially
right.
driving.
Exactly. And so our CEO was just adamant, like, no, nobody works from home.
Oh
So
no.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I think if I've been here for 24 years and I can't work from home for 2 days a week, it might be time just to explore and see what else is out there.
For
And
sure.
so that's what I did. And I worked for UVI. Uh, it's an inspection um, company that it's like a drive-through system.
Okay.
So yeah, to help with, you know, condition report writing and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And I did that. It wasn't even a year, it was about 9 months. And I was going to New Jersey once a month for a week. And I had a lot of people during that time, and they were like, you know, if you ever want to get into consulting, we would love to hire you. That sounds, you know, like you would be a great fit. And all of a sudden, I was kind of coined as a super connector by all of, you know, different folks. And I thought, you know, I do have a lot of connections. Maybe there's something to that. And so that's where JRC Innovative Solutions, it was born out of that.
That's
And
awesome.
through consulting, um, I started out consulting with Privacy for Cars. I did a lot of work for pre-owned auto logistics, also known as PAL, and a couple of auctions. And it was great. I feel like it grew really fast in a short period of time. Um, but at the same time, my husband decided that he wanted to retire and start a second career after 27 years in education. And with kind of that unknown, I think we just decided we needed something with some stability, and you knew you were going to get a paycheck, you
Yeah.
knew what was going to be coming in. So Privacy for Cars wanted to bring me on full time, and we had worked great together during the time I was consulting. We were making things happen pretty quickly, and it just felt like a natural fit. And Andrea Amico is the CEO, and I just can't say enough great things about him. He is empowering, um, and for women, that is a hard thing to find especially in a male-dominated field, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, so his wife is a CEO and a powerhouse, and you can tell through how much he respects her. He respects the women that work for him the same way. And that's just something that is very unique and very special. And so, and it was ironically Dana, who is the CEO of HAL, is the same way. Like you can just, it's something that I had never really experienced before. And so I kind of had these two champions in my corner. Um, and it's made the biggest difference in my career. I would say of those 24 years, having to, you,
The good supporters on your side, help giving you a hand whenever you need. That's amazing. I
yeah,
love to hear
yeah.
that.
And not just a hand, but like, how can we elevate you? How can we help you succeed? How can we, um, like, there was no, I need to be in the limelight. It needs to
Hmm.
all about me. It all of a sudden was all about me. And um,
They're trying to
instead,
help you
yeah,
grow as an individual. That's
absolutely.
amazing. You never
Yeah,
hear of that. And especially in business, it's
right?
all about their own company and what they can do for themselves. That's great
Yeah,
that they're looking out for you.
yeah.
So,
It
what
and it's
was
just me, right? Like I see it with all of the employees, which makes such an amazing team, right?
Mhm.
Like everybody then, because it's from the top down, is lifting each other up. And yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
That's awesome. You spoke a little bit about privacy for cars. Can you speak about the process on how cars actually store data and what kind of data a car does store, just so people can have a little bit of insights on what the future of tech is going to actually take from ourselves when we own a
Yeah.
vehicle?
Yeah. So one of our taglines that we use quite often is you wouldn't turn in your cell phone without making sure all of the data was deleted, and your car should be the same way because it's
Definitely.
capturing the same data that your phone is capturing and more. Um, and I'll just share a personal testimony, which is another reason why privacy for cars is so important to me. I bought a Tesla used and test drove it, and the dealership went through all of the things with me. We get in the car. I bought it in Atlanta, Georgia, which is about 3 hours from home. And so I got in, drove it home. It was a long range, but still, drove it around a little bit over the weekend after driving it home. And I needed to charge it. And I had called Tesla to say, I've purchased this car. I need to transfer everything over. And with that, I went to a charger and plugged it up. And oh my gosh, I just charged the previous owner's credit card.
Oh no.
I completely freaked out about. I knew his information was in the car because when I got in the car, I could see where he lived, where his mother lived, where he
Oh
worked,
wow.
where he worked out. And I noticed every day when I would get in the Tesla that it would have like work, or if I got in the afternoon, it would be like mom's house. I could,
That's
because it was routine, right? Like it was telling me
yeah.
where I normally go thinking I was the previous
Oh
owner, and
no.
I was completely freaked out by it.
I bet.
And so it's like at that moment, I shared this with Andrea because we were industry friends at the time. And he was like, Jamie, we hear that all the time. And I was like, all the time? This is crazy. Like,
That is
you think about it in a rental car, right? Like, ooh, I don't want to connect my Apple Play because
who knows
it's
what's
a way to delete it, right? Like, even though you say, I don't want to keep it in the whatever that, don't store my information. Um,
it's gonna
it's
do it
still
either way.
information. Yeah. So some of the things that we don't think about is now that I was driving his car, if he was had his insurance connected to it, now my driving history could impact his insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to think for the better, but my family might say for the worst. But that's one piece of it. We have a story too where a mom traded in her van to get a new one.
Yep.
And the person that ended up purchasing her van um, wanted to know where the extra keys were. And the dealership said, oh, well, we didn't get them. The previous owner said that they didn't have them. Well, he gets in the car and hits home, goes to her house, knocks on the door, and starts demanding the extra keys
Oh
for the
my
car.
goodness.
Right? I mean, that's crazy.
That
I
is
mean,
crazy.
yeah, and we hear story after story where people will use the garage door opener that has been stored in the car, hit home, go
Oh my
in, hit the garage door opener,
that is
still it's in the garage. So, and those are kind of extreme
mm,
uh, examples, but anything that you have connected to your phone and then you plug that phone into, now it's also connecting to your car. And those are just the things that you've connected. Those aren't the things that the the manufacturer has programmed to connect. And we know that there's was recently a lawsuit against OnStar for some of the information that they were capturing. Um, but we offer a product called the Vehicle Privacy Report. And that report you can actually put your VIN number in, and it will tell you all of the things that, all of the data that's being collected on your vehicle. And that is something that a consumer can, uh, ask their dealer for. We also are partnered with dealerships to say, hey, make sure you put the vehicle privacy report with the vehicle that you list online so that that consumer can then see all of the information that is being collected on their car. And that is separate from the auto cleared report that we offer, which says this vehicle has been cleared of all of the previous owner's data. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah, so that gives the buyer confidence to know that their data has also been deleted, that they've traded in, right?
Yeah,
And so we partner with auto auctions so that any inventory that comes from an off-lease vehicle or repossession, anything that a consignor would send to auction has been deleted of the personal data from the previous owner. And a lot of that's because of the compliance that these finance companies are held, to laws that require them to make sure that that personal data is deleted. It's kind of ironic because not a lot of states have a state specific law, but we're seeing it more and more. So, of course, California has one. Texas just rolled one out. Illinois, New Jersey's law is a little different in that they are required to offer for the data to be deleted. Um, and so with
that's amazing.
right? So
I
with that, we offer a certificate then that can also be given to the consumer to show, here is your certificate to prove that your data's
That is
been deleted.
cleared. That's amazing. Before I actually emailed you, contacted you, I didn't actually know a thing about it. I would have never thought about my data getting stored into a car. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And I think, especially with Tesla and the electronics that are in cars now, be a, it's gonna be a great business opportunity. It's
yeah.
gonna be awesome. So
Hang on.
how can one be the vice president of customer success at one company while running your own business? What does a typical day look like for you? That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, so honestly, my 8 hours a day, there is nothing but privacy, nothing but, customer success, which I love. If I could have created a job for me and a job title that says, this is my perfect world, that is what I get to do for 8 hours a day. And then on my spare time, when I get off at and I usually work 7 to 4. I have a lot of customers that are in the UK, Germany, London, Switzerland. And so I usually get up at 3:30 in the morning to
Oh my
communicate with
goodness.
those guys. And then I'll go back to sleep and then start my day. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah.
You're
So
really
really,
dedicated to helping people out, that's for sure.
I love people. I love people. Um, so then from really like 4 to 5, I spend time working really on making those connections for other people. And what I do is it's really nice because I just set the meeting and it's kind of a tiered uh, pay scale that I use. So I'll get paid if I make an introduction that you've never met someone. Then I get paid again if that leads to like an RFI or something like that. Then I would get paid again if that would lead to business.
Okay.
But really, it's just a handoff for me, and so it works because I'm already talking to my friends anyway. And so it's like, oh, this would be a great fit for you. Or, oh my goodness, did you know that these guys could really help with this? So it's really fun and I don't really feel like it's work. Um, yeah, it's really again going back to this being a relationship business. Um, I genuinely love people. I love the people of this industry because I've been in it for so long. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so yeah,
amazing.
that's
You
really,
you
I
don't
mean,
you don't hear of people loving their job as much as you do. And especially the people side. A lot of people don't want to deal with other people, but you just seem to take it and run. It just brings you joy every single day. That's amazing. I love that. I want
that it does bring me joy.
I just want to talk about a little bit about the automotive industry trends. So over the
Okay.
past 5 years, the automotive industry has undergone significant transformation, driven by technological advancements, the push for EV, and shifting consumer preferences. Being such an experienced individual in the industry, what major shifts are you seeing in the automotive remarketing industry right now, and how is it affecting companies?
Yeah. So
Oh, and one other thing. It says we have 8 minutes left.
you want to go ahead and
Well, that's just it'll end in 8 minutes.
okay.
So if it ends, I'll start up a new one. And but we don't have many more questions to go. It's kind of more just the future goals.
Okay. So, trends. Oh my goodness. If you look at it was EV, 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 EV. Every time you went to a conference, every panel, every session, EV. Now it is AI. And I have the privilege to co-chair the AI committee for the Automotive Remarketing Alliance. And that committee is part of a greater committee called the Industry Advancement Committee. And I also am the liaison between that committee and the compliance committee for AI.
You're in
And
all the
then
committees. That's
I try
amazing.
to be, again, I get to work with my friends. Um, and then under industry advancement, there is an EV committee. And I think that for me, I think people are kind of like over the EVs. They're either bought in or they're not.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is auctions, right now there's not a ton of them um, that are really going through the auction. There's a number of them, but Tesla has their like they have a big sale at AutoNation in Atlanta. They also have their own sale for their off lease cars, but there's not a lot of off lease yet. Uh, it's about to be, and that's going to be interesting once we see more and more of those in the market. I think the auctions have decided we know what to do if one catches on fire. We have charging stations to make sure that the battery doesn't die. And okay, some are like, it's a fad. It's not going to take over the world in 2035 like everyone thought. So we'll see.
Mhm.
Um, it will be interesting under this new administration to really see what happens in the US. Uh, I just was talking to a friend last week that driving a Tesla and driving an EV, it's become more political than ever. And I don't like that. I don't like that I drive something that now has this stigma that it's a political statement.
Yeah.
Uh, so I guess that's kind of my take on EVs and what's going on. AI, however, I think is something that folks don't really understand and they want to understand it. Um, and I think folks are a little scared of it. So we have done, we did a panel on how AI is going to revolutionize condition report writing.
Hmm.
And then our next one is how AI is going to reduce arbitrations. And we're going to do a sneak peek at that at the car conference coming up in 2 weeks. And then we'll really dive into it at the ARA Summer Roundtable in August.
Okay.
But what we are seeing is people don't really want to put the work in to train AI. And AI cannot be successful unless you train it because it
Yes.
only knows what you tell it, right? So you've got to talk to it over and over and over. That's why Chat GPT, like that's been in the background for years, but it just was really people bought into it the last several years because now it has some of the training where it's been reading everybody and taking,
It has all the information and more.
right. Yeah, it's not just sweeping the internet now,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's the same way. Like you can't use it for condition report writing unless you are using it to write condition reports to say, yes, this is right, no, this is wrong, and you're training it.
Hmm.
So, Greensboro Auto Auction is it's a large independent auction in Greensboro, North Carolina. They are working really hard to train AI right now for condition report writing at their auction. Mannheim has been doing it for several years, and but I don't think anybody feels like it's where nobody has the confidence in it yet
Hmm.
because again it's going to take years and years.
Gonna take some
um
time.
yeah, and it's a lot of work, right? So it's like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm putting the work in, but when am I going to see that ROI? And so you've got to have techno technology forward thinking people willing to put in that work. And I think that's what, you've Mannheim's always kind of at the front of things anyway. They're kind of known for their technology and advancement. And then Greensboro is kind of like that same champion for independence. It's like they they're the reason that the odometer rollback check got started with auto check
Hmm.
because they had all these rollbacked vehicles, and we partnered with them to create a report to stop that, to stop dealers from being able to roll back odometers. And so, yeah, I think that AI is going to revolutionize what we do. Um, I think that there are so many components to AI that are beyond the scope of just customer service, beyond the scope of just even condition report writing. It's going to be really cool to see how it can help with things like saving money through arbitrations and things like that. So
Hmm.
I'm excited about AI. I partnered with RideSale to write an ebook on AI in the fleet sector
That's
of our
awesome.
industry. So I get kind of jazzed up, I get really excited about it. Um, so those are kind of, I know I kind of did a high level overview of it, but
No,
I don't
that's
know if we have enough time to discuss every, nuance
no,
of
that's
getting.
amazing. I love how you just touched on little things that we're gonna see the difference of here in the next couple of years, even.
Yeah.
Um, so with running JRC Innovation, I want to know some of the goals in the next 6 to 12 months with JRC. What are you, what are you trying to look to do? Are you trying to grow as a company? Are you just trying to help individuals? Are you trying to help dealerships? Just kind of talk about the
So,
goals.
yeah, one of the goals is I would really like to start a podcast. I want to give you a run for your money. Um, And so I would love to be able to get some sponsors to really help kind of push that. Um, so that's one goal I would really like to do. And the goal of that would be more conversational. Actually, I love this kind of style. Just again, going back to I love people, so I just want it to be conversational and fun. I already have several topics that I've kind of outlined, and I'm super excited about that. So I don't really like asking for money, so that would be one of the things that I would like to accomplish in the next several months.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing is I'm really focused on helping companies that really need just those connections, right?
Mhm.
Um, I don't, I want to make sure that, Privacy for Cars has my undivided attention because it is my 8 to 5. And then, we laughed earlier. My 5 to 9 is JRC, right?
Yeah.
Um, Also the Secretary of GROW, which is the Global Remarketing Opportunities of Women. And so I also that has become kind of like a full-time job. So I also do that from 5 to 9. It's really great that my kids are adults now. And, I feel all the time that I used to have running them to dance and theater and this and that to now just working.
Focus
Um,
on yourself, focus on your business. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that's really, anything that I can do to really help um, other folks who may have a business where I have a connection that could help them. That's really what I want to do. Um, if eventually that became my full time job, um, that would be different and the expansion would be more and the in depth, it would be more in depth.
Hmm.
But really now that's kind of what my bandwidth will allow. Um, so yeah, I think those are my personal goals with my personal brand. I would love to do another ebook. Um, Ride Sale has been great I mean, they've been very supportive. Um, Co-authoring that book with them was a lot of fun. It was very hard and overwhelming, but I really enjoyed it. So things that help the industry, but also help me grow as a person. Those are really my goals.
I love how you're just out to help people and customers and business. I love
Yeah,
that's your goal. I love that.
yeah,
Can we speak a little bit about the goals for privacy for cars? Kind of touch on that?
yeah. So we have a couple of new products that are coming out that we're super excited about. And that might be another time for us to talk because it kind of gets into that what is your car collecting and what can I do about it?
Well, maybe
So
we should
that's
save,
a
should we
teaser.
save that for another call?
Yes, that'll
I
be a
think
teaser
so.
for our next conversation.
Awesome.
Um,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. We have really been involved with our dealer partners and growing our presence in the dealer space. And with that, we have partners like dealer.com, where our dealerships that use Privacy for Cars to delete that data are then putting those reports online. And so, we want to get a more online presence with those certificates and the vehicle privacy report. And yeah, just overall growth. We are growing so fast in the UK. And so that's been a big focus of ours. We have partners in Canada like eBlock.
Awesome.
Yeah. And some other dealership partners. And we're also looking to expand that. One of our sales guys actually lives in Ontario. So we want to, expand globally. And that's really what our big reach is. It's a little easier in the UK because they have a law called GDPR, and that requires personal data to be deleted out of vehicles. They take privacy, they take it to heart, and
Very,
they are very
yeah.
strict about it. And so that's where we come in, right? And so that has been a huge focus as more states roll out these laws in the US. That will help us. But, we offer a way that dealers can increase their ROI 3 to 10 times. And so we don't want you to just do it because it's the right thing to do, but we want to help you make money while you do it. So,
Definitely.
we're looking forward to some real growth, not just in the wholesale market, but on the dealer side as well.
That's amazing. I love how you guys, both your company and Privacy for Cars, are both just looking to help others. I love that.
Yeah, and
That's amazing business model.
yeah, that's really how Privacy for Cars got started. It was this idea that people should be in control of their data, right? And
Definitely.
other companies say that, but they don't really take
They
the
don't.
step to make that happen and to give you a pathway to be in charge of that. And Privacy for Cars does. And I
That's
don't know if I can say any more amazing things about Andrea, but he had a passion, he saw it, and he's like built a business around
about
taking others.
helping others
Yeah.
and businesses. That's amazing. I love that. So we're running out of time here. I have one last question for you, and then we'll finish up the call. So
Okay.
looking back on your journey in the automotive space, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned, and what advice would you give entrepreneurs entering the automotive space right now?
That's a loaded one. Let's see.
You don't have
Things
to
that
get fully in depth.
okay.
Just some advice you'd give entrepreneurs entering the automotive space.
So I'll just touch on things that I've learned
Yeah,
quickly. And that is because this is a relationship business, you've got to be honest and you have to have integrity. Um, People do business with people that they like, and all things being equal and all things being not equal, people still choose to do business with people they like. And
definitely.
so that has been something that the president of AutoCheck at the time, he's retired now, but Steve DeMedicis would say all the time, like, treat people right, do well by them, and they'll choose to do business with you. And so I think that's probably been one of the biggest lessons. And that's bled over into my personal life too. We all grew up with the treat others as you want to be treated. But I think I like to live by treat others how you want to treat others. And so that's been a little twist for me. And um, so I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned. Um, I have seen the industry change so much in the last almost 30 years. Um, Women, we were a very, very small group. And I look out at a conference now and I see all of these young women, and I want to be like, do you know what we did for you? We paved the way for you. Like, do you know how hard it was? Uh,
That's
Selfishly, I was thinking that. But um, unselfishly, I look across and I think, how amazing is this that you see all of these women in this male dominated field, that the numbers expand every year. And before long, it's going to be equal, and it might even be more, right?
might be.
Um, I think women should run the world. So, I think that's great. And it's exciting. And that's one reason that I believe in Grow, the global remarketing of women, opportunities for women, is because I want to help elevate other women. I want to help other women grow within their own company. If you're an entrepreneur, I want to help you start your own business.
That's
And
amazing.
with that, I would say it is hard. Um, it is doable, but you've got to have a product that people see that they need, not that they need, but they see that they need. You need to have something that separates you from others, and that can't just be price.
Hmm.
Um, and you've got to have the support of the industry before you get started. So you can't just say, I have a great product and I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to go and everybody's going to buy it because it's the best product out there. Not really. You This is a tight niche industry, and you've got to know who your audience is. You've got to know what they want, and they want to know that you hear them. So put together some focus groups, go talk to the auctions, go talk to the wholesalers, find out if what you think they need is what they think that they need. Um,
That's
because if
amazing.
they don't feel like they have a stake in it, they're not going to buy in.
I love that advice. But for anyone listening, if you want to be an entrepreneur in the automotive space, just listen to Jamie because she has some amazing insights. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jamie. We really appreciate you taking the time to share your insights and expertise with our listeners, your expertise on everything automotive. Just your experience has been incredible, valuable, and I'm sure our audience has learned a lot. I hope you'll come back and join us again. We're definitely going to plan a call in the next few weeks. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.